Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda. We are about to begin chapter 25, which is titled Formless Meditation. Non-dualism is a far-off goal. There is a well-known Sanskrit verse which aptly expresses the true spirit of Hindu worship. O Lord, in my meditations, I have attributed forms to Thee who art formless. O Thou, Teacher of the world, by singing Thy glory, I have contradicted the truth that Thou art beyond all speech. By describing Thee as specially manifested at places of pilgrimage and the like, I have denied Thy omnipresence. O Lord of the universe, pray forgive me for this threefold fault of mutilation committed by me. Rupam rupa vivarjatasya bhagavato dhyanena yat kalpitam stutya nirvachaniyata guru durikkritayanmaya vyapitvancha nirakritam bhagavato yattirthayadritradhina kshantavyam jagadisha tad vikalata doshatrayam matkritam. All worship is undertaken with the basic assumption that beyond all forms, beyond all names and symbols, shines the supreme light which is without form and attributes. Spiritual life is like a staircase leading to the final experience of non-dualism, which may be compared to the terrace. Since most of us are still on the staircase and not on the terrace, we should stress the steps very much now, but always remembering that our goal is the terrace beyond all steps. Moreover, we should first of all know where on the staircase we actually stand. Many people want to practice non-dualistic meditation very often after reading a few books on Advaita. So many people talk about the Absolute. But what do they attain on the practical side? Most of them give up after a short while. They find they are getting nowhere. In the case of a few others, it may take them several months or even years of futile effort to understand that non-dualism is beyond their grasp. People forget that non-dualism is a state of actual experience. It is not what appeals to you intellectually that is important, but what actually you can do. We should not attempt anything simply by reading books. A dualist with a real spiritual experience is infinitely better than a non-dualist or a monist without experience. As long as we meditate, as long as there is meditation and the object of meditation, even in the subtlest form, it is dualism. So we need not worry now about the one without a second. We need not worry about getting merged in the one now. For most people, it may even take millions of years to attain to that state. Next section, the one behind the many. But it is most important to bring the one into the many. In the midst of all the multiplicity, we should not forget the one which is our ultimate goal. The infinite, the absolute, must form the background to the forms of God we meditate on. In the path of devotion, the aspirant concentrates his mind and feelings on his Ishta Devata or holy personality. The vast majority of people need the support of such holy forms for their meditation. But they should not forget that all these divine forms are only special manifestations of the absolute principle. Both your soul and the holy personality are one in that absolute principle which Vedanta calls Brahman, but the holy personality is a special manifestation of Brahman. In the great incarnations and prophets, you see a unique manifestation of divine purity, knowledge, love, etc. In the nucleus of our own small personalities also, there is the same purity, knowledge, love, etc. But it is all covered with ignorance. Our personality is a combination of the true self and the false self. The spark of light forgets its light nature and identifies itself with the cloud nature, and then all the troubles and miseries of life arise. If you imagine that you are drowned in the infinite ocean of consciousness, you will feel that your personality is something subtle that has become gross. Next section, types of formless meditation. However, instead of meditating on a holy personality, you may, if you like, meditate on a non-anthropomorphic symbol of the divine, like the ocean or the sky or a vast area of light or space. This is meditation on the formless, but remember, this is not monism, but is only a step to it. Meditating on an ocean of light and meditating on a holy personality are dualistic meditations, but the former is nearer to monism than the latter. And I repeat, a dualist with experience is infinitely better than a monist without experience. In formless meditation, think that both the vast mass of light, your object of worship, and you, the small particle of light, are drowned in a vast infinite ocean of light. First, we think more or less of the body alone, and there is only an indefinite idea of the principle of consciousness standing at the back of ourselves of everything. Then we begin to stress the principle of consciousness more than the body and try to see the divine spark living in all the bodies and giving life to them. It is possible for a devotee to love the formless as much as God with form. This is only a question of temperament. In this, there are 3 steps. Step 1, with forms and with attributes. Sakara, Saguna. Without forms but with attributes. Nirakara, Saguna. Without form and without attributes. Nirakara, Nirguna. Again, with form and with attributes. Sakara, Saguna. Without form but with attributes. Nirakara, Saguna. And without form and without attributes, Nirakara, Nirguna. In the course of our spiritual practice, we must take a definite standpoint from where to proceed. There are some devotees who, in a certain mood, would turn to the form with attributes, and in another mood, to the formless with attributes. At every step, we must be in touch with the divine, whatever be our mood. It is this inner contact that is more important than the object of our meditation, with or without form. Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of a Sanskrit passage. When I think of myself as identified with the body, I am thy servant, and thou art my master. My will is controlled by thy will. When I think of myself as a jiva, that is individual soul, as distinct from the body, I am a part and thou art the whole. When I recognize the spiritual principle in me as distinct from body and mind and jiva, I realized that I am one with thee. This is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, translated by Swami Nikhilananda, published in 1974, appears on several pages, page 32, page 534, page 652, and also 805. As it turns out, what this passage is referring to is what Hanuman said in response to Sri Rama, when Sri Rama asked him this question: how do you see me? How do you view me? After all, Sri Rama was Bhagwan for Hanuman. So how do you view me? And let me see if I can find it. There's a very beautiful response that I'm trying to find the original of what Hanuman said to, yes. So what Hanuman replied was, So once Rama asked Hanuman, "How do you see me?" Hanuman replied, "Deha buddhaya tava daso." It means, if I see myself as a physical body, then I see myself as your servant. Then Hanuman says further, Jiva buddhaya tvam amsha. It means when I see myself at the level of a jiva, I see myself as a part of you. And then Hanuman says, Atma buddhya tvamevacha. It means when I see myself as the self or consciousness, I see that there is no difference at all between you and me. You are what I am, and I am what you are. The standpoint we adopt must be based on our actual experience. We should not go on changing our attitudes after reading books. A higher point of view may be appealing, but are we really able to apply it in practical life? That is the question. There are some aspirants who are not satisfied with having only one form of meditation. They think of the infinite ocean in which exists the worshipper and the worshipped, like the bubble and the wave. The devotee thinks more of the divine than of himself. Then he tries to think of the principle in the object of worship and in himself. In the next step, the bubble and the wave both get merged into the infinite ocean. So long as there is even the slightest clinging to personality, one passes through repeated births. When this clinging stops, the water particle becomes one with the ocean. But just now, we need not worry about getting merged in the ocean. That will take a very long time. When Swami Vivekananda was in America, a lady expressed to him her horror at the idea of getting merged in Brahman. Swamiji smiled at her and told her that there was no cause for such a fear. When the drop of water reaches the ocean, the rays of the sun lift it up and bring it back to earth. There is no imminent danger of the souls getting merged in Brahman. This is from the life of Swami Vivekananda by the Eastern and Western disciples, published in 1974, page 351. For the vast majority of people, it may even take millions of years to attain that. Till then, they are born again and again to work among their fellow men, to share their joys and sorrows. Before we die, we must get at least some glimpses and then move on. If in this life you do not succeed, begin again and again. Move on life after life till you reach the goal. Next section. Begin with yourself first. Whether we practice meditation on a holy personality or on the formless, what is most important is to reduce our identification with our body. Some people denounce the worship of forms, the worship of clay images, but at the same time cling to their body. For many, their own body is the most adorable thing in the world. This kind of body worship is the worst form of idolatry that there is. And yet so many people feel superior because they do not worship images of clay. Some people are eager to analyze the nature of God but are not willing to analyze themselves. Before you apply the concept of formlessness or impersonality to God, apply it first to yourself. It is an important law that our concept of reality depends on our concept of ourselves. So, in order to meditate on the formless God, we must first consider ourselves to be formless. We must depersonalize ourselves first before we try to depersonalize God. This most people won't do. That is why they very often get precious little out of their impersonal meditation. Many people in the name of formless meditation allow their minds to get into a torpid state. The attempt to remove all forms from the untrained mind usually results in sleep or sometimes in allowing bad thoughts to take the place of good ones. So, in order to practice formless meditation, begin with yourself first. Look upon yourself as the spirit, as the inner light. By trying to look at the body from inside and thinking of the spirit animating it, our sense of personality is positively minimized, even if thoughts and feelings do not disappear altogether. Again, try to apply this process of looking from within in the case of the forms which appear in the mind and create troubles. The outward form of ours as well as of others is associated with desires and passions which seem to disappear the moment we come to have the inward view. Face plays a great part in our body consciousness. We may look at the face also from within. It becomes easier for us to see the divine in each form by approaching it in a spirit of veneration. First, we have got to develop the personality, and then we must dissolve it, as it were, into the impersonal. Out of this impersonal will then arise a pure personality, always conscious of and dependent on its origin. That is our higher self. It is that which becomes a true instrument of the divine. We must learn to think in terms of the soul. Never stress the body aspect. Never think of yourself as a man or a woman. Just blast this rotten sense of personality, this meaningless egotism of ours, by bombarding it with some of the grand passages from Shankara like. I am neither the mind nor the intellect, neither the ego nor the mind stuff, neither the sense of hearing, taste, smell, touch or sight, nor am I the elements of earth, fire or air. I am of the nature of pure consciousness and bliss. I am the Supreme Self, I am the Supreme Self. This is the very famous Nirvana Shatkam by Adi Shankaracharya. What was quoted was verse 1. Mano buddhyahankara chitta ninaham na cha shrotra jihve na cha ghrana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupash shivoham shivoham. The next from Adi Shankaracharya, I am neither male nor female nor neuter. I am the beneficent being, the light, supreme. Puman naiva nastri tatha naiva shandav prakrishtav prakasha swarupas shivoham. This is from the Nirvana Manjari, verse 1. I am neither a human being, nor a god, nor a demigod. I am neither a Brahmin, nor a Kshatriya, nor a Vaishya, nor a Shudra. I am neither a student, nor a householder, nor a forest dweller, nor a monk. I am the Self, the infinite consciousness. Naham manushyo nacha deva yakshau, na brahmana kshatriya vaishya shudraha, na brahmachari na grihi vanastho bhikshur na chahan nijabodha rupa. This is from the Hastamalaka Stotram, verse number 2. Go on repeating sincerely, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. Next section, states of consciousness. The body may be the center of our consciousness, the mind may be the center of our consciousness, the little soul may be the center of our consciousness, the infinite may be the center of our consciousness, and our whole attitude, all our actions and thoughts depend on what center of consciousness we have chosen and where we have our center of gravity. We have got two forms of consciousness. We make the soul the center of our consciousness and feel the infinite in that. Or we make the infinite the center of our consciousness and feel the soul as a manifestation of this infinite. Making the soul the center of consciousness, we feel the infinite like a circle all around it. Or making the infinite the center of our consciousness, we feel that the soul is like a point existing in it. Every soul is like a point, and God is like an infinite ocean of light joining every point of the circle. In the beginning, all this may be an imagination, but ultimately it becomes an experience. We should try to remain in one of these three spiritual moods. 1. Dwelling on the unity, merging the individuality in it. 2. Identifying oneself with the infinite and then feeling the personality only as its manifestation. 3. Thinking of oneself as an individual and then feeling the presence of the immanent, all-pervading principle, the soul of our soul, on whom the soul is fully dependent. As long as the ego persists, let us be connected with the infinite divine as in 2 and 3. Let the ego be never allowed to be more real than the infinite soul. In order to strengthen the sense of unity, you may repeat some of the monastic meditations already referred to. Try to soar step by step. From the holy form with the noblest attributes, rise to the formless with attributes. From that, move to the pure being without form and without attributes. And when you come back, do so in reverse order. If you do that, you'll find that the soul always gets the divine support and connection, even when body consciousness becomes strong. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.